Someone who won lost. Like a two, and you might have a chance. That's right now.
Sam is savage today.
Yo, that's mid, bro. Yeah, Minnesota and Florida are gonna make us everyone angry. My mind's telling me no. Hey everyone, and welcome to the Best of 3 Call of Duty Esports Podcast. I'm your host, Josh. SalvationsElite to my right is Bash, underscore Bo3 Sam, and to our farthest right, per usual, is none other than the Rex, ShadyNero. And boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, today we're predicting the final week of qualification, aka group matches, before the major one, for stage one. And there's a lot to talk about, obviously news, ranked play, and so much more. And we're gonna be getting into all of that today. Before we get to that, I gotta ask, boys, what's going on?
Well, Josh, I'm feeling like a water well in the middle of a medieval castle. And all the villagers are herding around me, and they're going, throw the penny in, and they're throwing pennies at me, and I'm no, why are they doing this? And they start being like, I wish for $1 million, and they throw it in, and I'm like, I can't do that for you. And honestly, it was quite painful until this one day, this kind old man who clearly had some wisdom in his eyes, He comes strolling across towards my little cobble brick well, and he starts washing me. And I'm like, dude, I already got some water. I got you hooked up if you'll do this for me. And he's like, word, son. And he starts just washing me. And then he started putting in more bricks to make me a little bit taller. Okay, and more and more taller, where I'm now surpassing the height of the villagers. Now, if they want to wish something, they got to throw it up to the sky and land it in my well. Wow. And honestly, I feel better about it. I think the people get something more out of it than just a simple toss. I feel like I have purpose now.
Wow, man, that's amazing, dude. That one really, yeah, it develops. Yeah, that was the developing one. I mean, as you've grown, like you feel like you're more respected now. It's we're rolling, we're developing, and it requires more effort to get that out of you now. So that's the fun of it. Sam, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Yeah? It's just another day in the life, I feel like. So
Of course. Just
that's what I got for you. Honestly.
You're the man washing him down.
I am.
Building him up.
Yeah.
We need each other around here, but there's a lot to talk about today, so we got to keep hustling around here. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the pod so far. We got a lot to talk about today. We got ShadyNero back, of course, after missing last week, and we are rocking and rolling back on Tuesdays. So things you love to see. If you like, listening, you can drop a comment on YouTube. You can drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. You could, Spotify is starting to roll out reviews, so maybe check to see if you can drop a review on Spotify. And last week. We had a review 2 weeks ago through a Twitch DM. Last week we had another 5 review from Carrot, and this week we have do we have a 5-star review?
We do. I was a little angry because I accidentally swiped and it went away, and now I had to go back. But I found it again, so we're good. This is going to be back on old Apple Podcast from It's Bosco. With a title of lowercase, just thrilling. Thrilling. It's a single
thrilling,
title.
But not too thrilling,
It's a lowercase thrilling. 5-star, of course. The amount of satisfaction this podcast gives me is tremendous. The way Bash's voice cracks tickle my ears gets me in the mood to sit down and enjoy an amazing Call of Duty podcast. And I wouldn't want to get my fix anywhere else. Juicy Josh, Bootylicious Bash, and Rambunctious Rex, baby.
Juicy Josh? Oh, hello.
Hope my voice cracked, or my voice didn't crack there, but maybe it did.
Yeah, man. Wow. Wait, what was Rex's name?
Rambunctious Rex.
Rambunctious.
Funny enough, when I played Toontown back in the day, that's what the peeps used to call me.
Bro,
really?
Toontown.
Wow, dude.
Toontown's a throwback.
No chance.
Dude, Toontown
That's actually insane.
Lit.
I had the CD and everything, man.
Really? I never played. Can't say I did. But wow, we have a lot to talk about today, so we're going to do no quick question. We're going to go straight into the news of the week.
Are you tuned enough?
Yes.
The question we're all pondering.
Yes.
So with that said, let's get right into the news of the week. Let's go.
The Call of Duty News of the Week.
News here. News here. Come get your Call of Duty news. News this week. As we all know, Neptune was benched for royalty. We'll talk about the after effects of that here shortly.
Yes, we'll talk a lot more about that.
Making some waves, paving the way, maybe for some future pro teams. They signed a challengers team.
Dude, finally, yes.
Adding another brick to that pile that is so desperately needed to make a fortress.
Oh, dude, the hype is real.
Who's on this challengers team?
Yes, that is the question.
It's none other than the Spanish squadron. Vamos! Journey, Lucky, Metals, and Real.
It's about time.
Bro.
It's pretty cool. It's interesting that they went just a full European route, though, no?
Yeah, a full European route, but they picked up the roster that's been probably the best core four of any challengers team so far. I mean, they've literally been frying. They have been dominating the Elite Series. They've been winning all the cups. They've been looking fantastic. I mean, they literally have won all. They got first in Cup 1, 2, and 3, and then got second in Cup 4. And they're currently number 1 in the Elite Series in Europe right now. They went 6-1 in the Elite Series with a 28 map count. So
if I remember this team last year in Cold War, and maybe even also, in Cold War, they have a really strong start. But then it's somewhere like the later end of midway of the season, and at the end they were still good, like top 5 or something, but they weren't nearly as powerful. I wonder if that's going to happen again.
Yeah. Last year, I'm looking at it right now. It was that Rams team with Lucky, Journey, Metals, and then Nvidian. They had like a handful of firsts from like January till March, and then got a second in March, and then didn't get top 2 again for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I mean, right now, Real's kind of been the guy. He's been a slayer. He's been nasty. And overall, the whole roster, and even like in the Elite Series right now, actually, the second place team is Sucre's Bakery, which is also all Spanish players with Sucre, Super, Yako, and Eric Boom. So the Spanish players are coming out to play right now. So we'll see.
I will say when Rokkr first announced it, the tweet nor the graphic had any names on it. Like I know that they like tagged them, and so I saw the graphic and I saw the tweet. I'm like, I don't know who these guys are, because I don't really like look at faces too often. I'm like,
oh yeah.
So it was kind of a weird thing. Like the graphic didn't list any names or anything, but obviously I dug a little deeper and I figured it out.
Of course.
But
researching.
It's about time. It's about time. These guys have been dominant. So. And then also seeing pro teams pick up academy teams, it just gives me hope, because the future I want is that every pro team is like wants to, and there's a reason to sign an academy team and keep them there and to like
promote them and have them in content. And,
exactly.
100%. 100%.
This is the step forward.
Yeah, and I think it is cool that the Rokkr chose a whole European team. I mean, that's definitely surprising.
Yeah, and I think and it also just shows like the willingness to like step outside of their quote unquote city. So it is kind of a weird thing where it's like you're trying to get like the localization effect, but like, again,
but they might be trying to get a European crowd.
Yeah,
expanding
which, like, again. They shouldn't just stick to Minnesota, and I think we're going to see this a lot. That's the tough balance you see, like with the franchise league and doing like a more where you have a hosted cities or hosted states, like having that local crowd, but then like having players from all around the world too. So
I wonder if Nubsy
cool.
had any say in that. With that talk, or if he has any like type of relationship with those guys.
He had a tweet recently like where he said like, I can't believe I still get like hate from the Call of Duty scene when I have nothing to do with Call of Duty anymore. And so I'm like, oh, like
his current role is team operations coordinator for version 1 in Rokkr. So I'd imagine he has some say in that.
Yeah. But it's just kind of sad to see that he didn't have any more hands in the old the Call of Duty scene, but doesn't mean he doesn't have at least some say. So
Yeah,
nice.
I'd say so. Pretty interesting. But yeah, I'm all for it, baby.
Some CDL DLC, some camos have joined the game with this most recent update. So
They have.
Ultra has a camo.
What do you guys think? Yeah,
is not
what do you
that
think it
bad
looks? I mean,
I don't think it looks bad. I think it looks
You guys
cool.
keep talking at the same time.
it happened like once. Calm down, all right.
Happened like 4
It looks
times.
better than past years.
For sure.
Why can't we get customized team?
Yeah,
I don't
did you
want
see
the
Hex's
same
tweet?
I know. What did he say?
He was basically saying that without saying it. He was like, he showed like another camo and was like, wow, look at how handcrafted and like in all caps and custom. These are awesome. You know, like he was
It's
making
just like
fun of it.
the laziest. Man, like, come on.
Let's make one thing.
Look bad.
I'm just being obnoxious.
You're being obnoxious now. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, yeah. What are you going to say, Rex?
I don't think they look bad. Someone said in the comments, like, what exactly do the camos have to do with the team besides the same color scheme? If I want to rep a team, I want their name and or logo on the gun. And honestly, I agree with that.
Well, yeah. Like they're.
And I don't see it on this
They
gun.
come
It
with
looks
sticker.
cool, but you do want to see the team on there. Otherwise, it's just like another, I don't know, just another skin.
Each DLC comes with stickers, I think, that you can put on the camos.
I wonder if you can see
I don't
it.
want a sticker. I want the freaking
So,
there
camo
you
to be
go.
cool.
Actually,
No,
it's
yeah,
not
I
bad.
agree.
You
I
got
mean, I'd rather have each team submit their own custom design for their own in-game camo. Or camel.
Dude, let's go. Every team gets a camel. World. we're Call of Duty Egyptian times camel warfare.
Call of Duty Egypt AD 102.
Each get your own camel.
AD
Do you want 2 humps or 3 humps?
Oh my gosh, bro. Oh, I'm dead.
So yeah, camos are all right.
Yeah, the camels are nice. Those are some nice camels. Wow.
All right. After that, unrumored USS Texas got removed from the game code.
That's so
from
sad.
the looks of it.
Yeah, that's a shame. I was getting really excited that was going to happen in like stage 2 or like season 2 or season 3.
Yeah. People are saying Chow Shot. Chow. Basically, I'm just going to read it like an idiot. Chow Chat is season 3, I believe. Is
Chow
what this
Chat?
person, I think it's going to be the name of season 3, unless it's coming out. I don't think so.
Oh, I was like, what are you talking about?
Hey, well, it's not. It's probably
I see.
or Chow Shot.
Chow
Like
Chow Shay.
Chow shit.
Shay.
Whatever.
Oh no.
Next up, Vanderhaar leaving Treyarch? ? Game design director David Vanderhaar of Treyarch. He removed the title game design director from his Twitter bio.
Interesting. I don't know. I mean, everyone loved him until that tweet replied to Scump. And then after he replied to Scump that, don't worry, we got you, and then nothing happened.
He was a ghost.
It hasn't been the same. Yeah. I mean, I love Vanderhaar is just fun, but like, man, that just sucks. I'm sure his hands were tied last year. I mean, come on, there's no way.
I think your hands are always tied when you're working for the big corpse.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, that's not a fun position to be in when you know you're the image bearer of the company and you're trying to like save face, but you don't actually get to have a say in the decisions being made. So, I mean, that's
he always said, "I make the shoes, I don't design the shoes."
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know.
So it sucks. Like, I know he was wanting something to be great, and obviously, looking back at Cold War from this game and other games, Cold War was a solid game. It's just the ranked wasn't there really, and all this good stuff.
The competitive support wasn't great, and
so there's
obviously things missing there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But like the Treyarch games have kind of been like looked on as like the best competitive game so far that we've had, and I think Vanderhaar has had a huge hand in that. So if he's gone, that sucks, honestly.
I mean, that's the thing. He's always been supportive of competitive, and he's he's friends with a lot of the pros and owners. So if we do lose him from Treyarch, that's losing a nice stronghold or foothold or a direct line of contact to a developer. So hopefully he's not gone, but that'd be a pretty big loss if he is.
Yeah. And now for the news we've all been waiting for. Ranked play. Coming
Rex,
on Thursday.
Oh my goodness, dude. Rex, I want to hear your thoughts first.
Oh man. Well, it looks...
Maybe describe it first. So that people are confused.
So it looks we'll just go. It's ELO based. That's a plus up.
Yes.
7 skill divisions, what we've seen before. 7 skill divisions, contender, specialist, advanced, expert, elite, master, challenger. Okay. But everything's based off of SR, which we've all wanted.
Right. Similar to World War II.
If you leave, there will be penalties, as there have been in the past. Who knows how well those things will be enforced. 5 placement matches. Cool. SR changes as you win or lose. Obvious. Your personal performance will have an impact on this. Who knows how. You will never lose SR if you win the game.
Right. That's good.
That's good. I think that's been a problem in the past.
Yeah, it's been weird situations.
Yeah. Challenger skill division is the top 1%. So that's the highest you can get. And then it's every new season, everything's wiped as a new season drops. You need to play the 5 placement matches to be rated again. My guess is that it's probably going to, when it's placing you, it's going to take into account what you've done in previous seasons. At least I think that's how Overwatch kind of works.
Be logical. Yeah.
And I think League, because, if someone's a grand challenger, let's say, and then they decide to throw all 5 of their placements, I don't think they'd place them in contender.
It'd be surprising, no. Because you'd have to be battling the potential of disconnects and players quitting in your placement matches and things along those lines. Yeah. So, yeah, I would imagine there's no way you just solely place off those 5, but
yeah. So
you never know.
Everything is wiped as a new season drops it's not wiped. And then there will be a top 250 player list. It will not be available at launch. And if you make it to the top 250, you'll get a specific icon and you'll be visible on the leaderboards, which is super cool. You always love leaderboards like that.
Yeah, in the video, they kind of described it like they said they wanted to make sure they got the ranking system down first before they committed to the top 250 and declared the top 250 players without really believing in their rank or having it all nailed down first. So they wanted to make sure it was good or whatever. So that's fair enough, I guess. But yeah. I mean, I definitely it was definitely an important feature. So hopefully they have it out 100%. Sooner than later.
Rewards will include emblems, calling cards, skins can also be achieved. Blueprints and camos can be achieved later on. Special skins can be achieved by Masters and Challenger Division players. And then the rules will be the same as that of what the League uses. Same map, same mode, same gun, same rules.
Hopefully.
And everything will be unlocked for you in ranked play. You won't have to level up the weapon to use it. There will be penalties for quitters, team killers, disconnects, harsher penalties for repeat offenders, and multiple team kills. Unsure how many will kick you out of the game.
They said 3. It's kind of like Cold War ranked play where 3 team kills, then you do self-damage, and then after enough self-damage, you get kicked.
Okay. Interesting.
So it's the same as Cold War.
Okay.
Very cool. Yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on that so far? Are there any question marks?
Rejoin option.
Yeah, that was one that I feel like needs to be there.
Everything here is telling me rejoin option is going to be a problem.
It's one of the only things that came to mind where I'm like, that's the only thing I wish they would have for sure confirmed was some sort of rejoin option because
there won't be if they didn't talk about it.
Oh, there won't be. No chance.
Not going to be.
No. I agree.
So what we did effectively. We did level up the ranking system to a degree by adding the SR.
Oh, I mean, that's everything.
Is about as far as we got up that ring. We got the 250 thing is pretty cool once that comes out.
Yeah. I mean, the SR is everything, though. That's what we needed.
Yes, exactly. SR is huge. Once we get a rejoin option, great.
Can I speak now?
Yeah, go ahead.
I hope we get like a freaking map vote system.
Oh yeah, no chance.
Full system.
No chance. They're gonna be screwing you. No
I
chance.
I don't want to play SMB.
You're gonna play.
Man.
You're gonna play Gavutu Control 4 times in a row, and you're gonna start on offense, and so you're just gonna hate yourself. That's what's gonna happen.
I would rather not play S&D solo. That'd be nice, but hey,
I mean, they do need a map. In COD, it's such a it's not like Overwatch.
Honestly,
or League of Legends.
It should just be like a wow, what's the word that I'm thinking of? Where you respawn. That's the word. A respawn versus non-respawn. Basically, S&D versus everything.
That's
that was one thing that we talked about in the past, where you potentially could have 2 ranks, one for respawn, one for S&D.
Yeah. Well, you could have respawn, S&D, and then like open, where it's has people know it. So
just do the Halo where they have multiple playlists.
Oh, that'd been so nice.
And you have like you could be like a diamond or Onyx player in one, but then be a garbage can in another one.
I mean, I don't mind S&D because now games actually matter though. So like people are going to be trying in S&D. So. It's not like Cold War where people aren't going to be trying. Because back in World War II, when you were in ranked and you played S&D, people were trying. So it's like
but
nowadays
World War II,
I think it'll be solid.
Sometimes. People were trying sometimes. I don't know. My World War II experience, I still had a lot of quitters.
Well, the quitting was, there was definitely a problem with quitting.
I feel like the quitting was the worst.
Well, disconnects were really bad in World War II. Just like random disconnects.
And then no rejoin.
Yeah, and then no rejoin. What I was going to say. Another thing that was confirmed, well, not confirmed, but assumed through data miners was that you can only play with people who are within 1 rank of you. So like if let's say you're in Masters, you can only play with elite people. And if you're in elite, you can play with challengers or what's below elite?
Elite,
Expert?
you can play with experts and masters.
Yeah, elite or masters. Yeah. So like we'll see how that plays out. Not ideal for people who have friends who have a large skill difference or aren't in the same tier ranks. So that's not ideal, but
how much harder do you think it's going to be? Like
than Cold War?
Yeah.
What do you mean? To level up or what? In what case?
I mean, because in Cold War, I was in elite for the most part, but I don't know if I'm like, am I like,
I think
is it going to be the same? Am I going to be elite again? Or am I going to be expert? Or do you know what I mean? Or am I going to be...
Well, they said that Masters is the top 5%, and last year's Masters was the top 2%. It's more about the ELO system. It's not going to be about what category you're in. It's going to be about ELO. It's like we don't know what ELO is connected to how high of an ELO you need to be in which one yet.
Yeah.
But I just think like I'm just going to be focusing on just leveling up my ELO all year long. Because I mean like... Yeah. Let's be honest. I ain't going to be touching challengers.
I feel like the initial placement matches are going to be really important because you're literally, I mean, don't want to psych anyone out, but you're literally setting your foundation with these opening first ever placement matches. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
Then next season you kind of get a reset, but they are going to take into account what you placed in that first season too.
Yeah, I wonder. I'll be interested to
take them seriously, folks.
I'm just so interested if they're gonna with the placement matches, if it takes into account last year at all, or if it takes into account pubs.
No, I don't think it.
I feel like it
probably maybe pubs. Last year, how would they even? You think they would?
Oh, they got all your past history on deck.
Yeah, they do.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. The only other things that came to mind that could potentially be an issue for me was. I mean, obviously, gentlemen's agreements is always going to be a question. How are they dealing with the rule set?
Gentlemen agreements aren't going to be they're not going to deal with them.
Right. But the question is, are they going to have default classes, like set classes? Because
I don't think so.
In their wording, they said play with the pros weapons and the pros loadouts. So
interesting.
I don't know. You could take that as in we're playing with default set classes, considering. Oh, they did coordinate with the pros a lot. Like Simp and Attach were part of the announcement, and that Clayster said that they also talked with the devs a lot about it and others as well.
Huh. I wonder what they'll do about the GA stuff then.
Because like right now, you'd have like 3 or 4 smokes in S&Ds. You know, like there's no trophies. So like you just have 3 or 4 smokes every S&D. So I don't know. There could be some problems there.
Still, I don't know. Because people are still kind of switching up their classes. So I feel like they'd be hard pressed to be like, you have to use this SMG, you got to use this AR. When like maybe pros are still switching it up. Unless they're not allowed to do that anymore and they have to stick with just these specific classes.
Yeah, I mean, I think overall, like
honestly, that could make the game more fun.
I think default competitive classes would just make things simpler. Like, because then it would be easier for pub people to be like, okay, that makes sense. These are just the pro loadouts. Like, you know, I don't know. I just think that could be nice, but I don't know if we're actually going to get that.
I would love that.
That would be great, wouldn't it?
Oh, it'd be nice.
Because then you know it's a totally even playing field, and
you're not going to get like last year where you had random DLC weapons every time popping up in ranked play because Treyarch was lazy and didn't want to ban it. Like unreal. So that would be nice.
Year. We were close last year to getting them, but then they kind of just
they happened for a second and then they didn't happen. So I don't know. That's going to be interesting. I think. Is there anything else that comes to mind that you're maybe potentially worried about, or things that you would have like changed or seen different?
Honestly, I think it's a good base, like especially from where we were. So
yeah,
I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I'm excited for it too. It's better. I think it's gonna be better than anything we've had, and I still believe that.
Agreed.
I still think there will be growth that is needed with it, but I think hopefully this one satisfies the taste buds a little more.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly the number they said, but I thought they said something around like plus 67 SR for wins and minus 40 something for losses. So like there is some sort of grind mentality that will be kind of involved where like
as it is with ranked stuff.
With ranked, yeah. If you play a lot, you're going to be rewarded because you're going to, even if you're 50-50 win-loss, you'd still be gaining points. So there is going to be a grind mentality in a case. I think the most interesting thing is that unlike World War II, where in World War II there was I think it was like plus 25 for a win and minus 15 for a loss or something like that. And then there was absolutely no effect on how you played. Where in this one, So this one there actually is an effect for how you played. So like in World War II, if you dropped 70 kills but your teammate quit, you'd still lose 15 points. Where in this, if you drop 70 kills and your teammate quits, you might only lose 5 points. So that's good. That's good. I mean, that's an improvement from World War II.
For sure.
I hope the rewards are cool. Like, because I think that's pretty important for attracting the casual player to play ranked play.
I do too. And I hope they have a nice hub for it. I hope it's like accessible. I hope it's eye-catching. I hope it's a place people kind of want to be at.
100%. So yeah, I think that's kind of like the big gargantuan massive news this week that we finally are getting ranked play, and I know it's gonna be great, bro. It is gonna be so good. The only other piece of news right before heading to the predictions is that the strafing run was GA'd right before this weekend. So we got to watch this weekend with no strafing run, which played all right. I mean, it's just weird seeing only one streak, especially when it's a glide bomb and it's not very useful. But like, I mean, the glide bomb's okay at best, but like, it's not going to break or change a game by any means. But
nothing crazy.
And it takes 7 kills to get one. So it's like, it's not easy to get one in the first place. So I don't know. I wish there was another streak that was good. That's really where I'm at with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just need to bring back jetpacks, play uplink, and get rid of trash control.
It's the answer for everything.
Control's trash.
Tuscan control is actually so fun.
I go to the bathroom when control's played.
Gavutu control is tough.
Rough.
But Tuscan control is epic. There's a lot of really good Tuscan controls. But yeah. So without further ado, we can get into talking about these predictions, boys, and rock and roll. Let's freaking hit it. Alrighty, baby, here we go. It's time. Predictions. Oh my goodness. So last week was interesting. Obviously, 9 of the 10 winners ended up winning their matches, and so, or not, no, 9 of the 10 favorites.
9 of the 10
Someone
winners.
who won lost, guys. No. 9 of the 10 favorites ended up winning, so it was a fairly like quote unquote predictable week. I think last week with Shift guest predicting, we got like 9 of the 10 right, basically when it came to winners. Yeah. The only one that was a surprise really was the London LAG match where LAG beat London. So we'll be kind of breaking down last week's matches as we kind of go through this and talk about each team and come up with some questions and break down the week overall and thoughts into the performances and everything. But first matchup, we can kind of show you what we're looking at here. We've also got the new look predictions. We also got the scores, the current scores for predictions. How we do it is 3 points for the perfect map count score and then 2 points for the right winner. And then the green matchup is our double points bonus match, which this week is Minnesota versus LAG. So a lot to go over, but off the rip here, we got LA Thieves versus the Paris Legion. Thoughts, boys?
LA Thieves, man. So they're an interesting. They're interesting.
They are. They are interesting, I'd say.
They probably. I think it's safe to say their toughest match has been FaZe, and then they've played Subliners and Mutineers, and you know, with Subliners being probably the worst team, well, besides Paris being one of the worst teams so far that we've seen.
Subliners had a last minute sub.
Yes, but before that too, why did they have a sub?
That's also tough.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Rex, if you put your microphone up, it'd be great. Thank you, mate.
So,
Muy bien.
I get all that to say is they've won 2 games. It was versus Subliners and Mutineers. So I guess, depending on how you feel the Mutineers and the Subliners are, how good do you think this Thieves team is? Especially too with only winning 1 S&D map as well. But of course with Paris, they're that and worse.
Yeah.
So I think
that's the problem. I mean, obviously, I think all of us think the LAT's going to win this. I mean, there's there's nothing around that.
Yeah. I guess more
Paris
like
did
just like
go
looking
3-2 against FaZe.
Well, yeah,
it's funny that like
2-3.
Paris's best match was against FaZe.
Right. I mean, Crowder did come out and say that he purposely chose all of FaZe's worst maps for that series because he wanted to see he wanted to test themselves.
Big brain.
And that was the kickoff event. So it's like, no, that was not the kickoff.
No, it was week 1.
It was week 1. But yeah, so I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't know, man. It's either 3-0 or 3-1, right?
I think it's a 3-1.
Yeah. I kind of want to look at Vito's here. Shout out Shift for tracking the Vito's. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Control would be the question here because they played. LA Thieves and Paris played at the kickoff event. Yes. And it went 3-1. And that was when Paris beat them on Gavutu Control, right? Yes, 3-2 on Gavutu Control. So since then, LA Thieves, they have not been able to veto. Oh, they haven't won a coin toss? That's tough. Paris
has not won a Tuscan.
Only
yet.
vetoed. They've only vetoed Tuscan. Yeah. So obviously Paris wants to play Gavutu because it's the only map where they're actually like competitive on.
Yep.
Outside of that, it's like S&D would maybe be the only other place where you could see them potentially winning one.
I mean, they've got like the worst.
But they haven't been good in S&D. Exactly.
Yeah, they have a worse stat line in S&D than Thieves. So I don't know, man. I think
this could be a 3-0.
Yeah,
I think it comes down to the coin toss. But even then, like we just saw LA Thieves dominate on Gavutu. I'm gonna go 3-0 Thieves.
Okay.
I'm doing 3-1 Thieves. I think I still hold out for Paris.
Which map do you think is most likely that they win?
Control.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. We just saw LAT just dominate on Control. So that's kind of like where, like, that's why I was so surprised that LA Thieves even lost it to them in the first place in the kickoff, because it's like, I mean, that
Paris
team
might sneak an S&D.
LA, I mean, they can sneak an S&D. Neither team's that good in S&D right now, and it's S&D. So it's like, you can always win one, but Control just seems to be the place like where I think LA Thieves they're built to be good on Gavutu. Like, you've got two legit flexes. We saw Kenny go like 20 something and what was he? He was insane. He was playing really well on Gavutu. Yeah, he went 27 and 14 on Gavutu in that series and looked really good. I just think it's gonna happen. I'm gonna go, like I said, LA Thieves 3-0. Pretty confident in that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll go 3-1.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, next match.
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta versus Minnesota.
Minnesota is going to make me angry again this year.
Yeah. Minnesota and Florida are going to make everyone angry.
Rokkr are going to somehow play well against the top teams, but then like not do that against the teams that they really should beat. Like, I was shocked to see them go 3-2 with Surge, and then of course it ends with the round 11.
Accuracy, man. Oh my gosh, that was
just
insane.
Ridiculous.
Dude, bro, and like it's like, why'd they split up? Like, bro, I was watching it live, like in the watch party, and you're like sitting there, and you're like, oh my word, they're gonna do it. They're gonna do it. He has a plan. And then it's like, where's he going? Why are you splitting up? Oh no. And then he kills Preset. You're like, oh no, dude. Like, oh, you had it.
Yeah,
it's so tough.
I don't know. Like, you always wonder, like, in the situations where it seems like a pretty like common thing, like everyone should know what to do, even like the most basic level. If there's like a certain play call that they're calling as to the reason why they do that, but like even if you had like some sort of trick play or something like that, like just stick to the basics, man. Just like stick to the like don't try to do,
man. In a round 11,
fancy.
it's like,
I don't know.
I just don't understand that. Like, especially on Tuscan, because like on B-bomb on Tuscan, especially because I mean the most common place for someone to sit, either they're sitting on plat or they're sitting back where accuracy was, back behind in the spawn by trucks. And you're like, so it's like, why not clear trucks together and then push up towards plat together? I just don't understand why you'd push out Church, which is risking a top plat gunfight. Like, if he's sitting top plat, now you have to have that gunfight there. I don't understand that at all. Like, I think it was probably just a brain lapse, but I'd like to see if maybe that was actually intentional and there's a reason there, but I just don't see the upside in that type of play like that. But I could rant all day.
Yeah. But when it comes to this matchup, I mean, here's the thing. Like, I want to say, FaZe 100%, but this could be a match where FaZe loses. And because especially
FaZe will lose at some point.
With FaZe, the three teams they've played so far is Paris, Thieves, and Breach.
Yeah.
So how much are we taking into account here? Like, I mean, they played Thieves really well, though. I don't even want to get into like the whole simp stats and like simp going negative and all that. Like, whatever. But like, I guess what I'm saying here is that we can't take a whole lot yet from who they've played to FaZe is by far the most dominant
S and Ds are obviously the problem here. I mean,
I think there's something to say about beating the Breach a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, the Breach have been solid.
I think Breach have been solid. I think Breach can be as a team to respect.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a pretty good argument for them being top 6 right now. But yeah, like, man, with FaZe, I guess it's coming out of the S and Ds. Like, at this point, I have no faith in the Rokkr winning a hard point. Like, they could, they absolutely can be competitive. And like, they beat Seattle on Gavutu. But are you going to trust that?
No.
I'm
going Atlanta 3-1.
Yeah,
3-1. I almost want to put a 3-0, but I'm not super high on the Rokkr.
I agree. I think I'm going to go Atlanta 3-1 as well. I think it makes the most sense. I think that's respecting Minnesota's S&D prowess, and then potential like control is interesting, especially if you end up playing Gavutu against FaZe. Really anything Gavutu, FaZe isn't totally comfortable yet, but at the same time, we saw FaZe win 2 Gavutus this weekend.
And FaZe is still learning. Like, they're not even playing at their best yet.
Well, no, FaZe, like I said, like Sam said, Simp hasn't gone positive in a series yet.
Yeah.
Right.
And they haven't lost. They're 3-0.
Yeah. I think Simp is still making good plays though, but they are going to improve a lot. I think they're going to be a lot better still.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like I talked about in the video today, but I mean, Simp went negative, like on that Bocage against Boston. Simp went 23 and 31, but you look at the scoreboard, Celium's 30 and 23, and Abeezy's 40 and 24. And you're like, okay, well, it don't matter what Simp's doing right now when Celium and Abeezy are doing that.
Well, and like that is still the scary thing about this phase roster is like at any point, any of them are like can pop off and will pop off, and
right
in that case, like you don't need to have Simp be that that guy. So
no,
that's of course is what's always going to make FaZe like just scary at all times.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Rex, you weren't here for the conversation last week. How do you feel about FaZe not sniping? They're the only team yet to not pull out a sniper.
Do what you think's best. I'm not sure. I mean, obviously the sniper is more hype, but
it is more hype. Yes.
Do you think it's smart or do you think it's dumb? Or do you think it's a good move or a bad move?
I don't. It could be. It depends how you play it, really. Because if you have that sniper, you're islanding him, which we saw with the LA Thieves in Octane. Like he gets islanded, which when he's getting
Ilya
picks,
Dashi.
they're getting picks. It's awesome, but when it doesn't happen, and now you're kind of stuck out here with a pistol, you kind of become worthless for a while till you can find a dead body to pick up their gun, and that's probably a hot zone. I don't know. Sniper is something I don't think you can whip out every play, but I think it's warranted sometimes.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, that's kind of where we were at last week when we were talking with Shift. Because like a lot of teams main snipe, like they'll have a sniper every round.
Yep.
And I just don't
There's no
necessarily
surprise
agree
to
with that.
That's how you countered LA Thieves. Like Octane, he has a sniper. You figure out where he's islanding. He's going there like every single round. Now you just know.
I think on Desert Siege and on Berlin, you can potentially make it work. But like if we've seen teams main snipe on Tuscan, and that just seems not worth it.
Well, that snipe has to get a pick. He has to get a pick. Otherwise, if he doesn't get anything, he's in
such a disadvantage. Yeah.
Yeah, and this game is just better just for like cross watching. You don't want to just post up against like an AR spot, kind of like what Shift was saying last week. It's people are getting beamed with the
Celium.
But yeah, so I again, it's different play calls, but it seems like this game is meant more for like it's better used in like Berlin, like watching that like statue cross or
getting a pick on a dude on a bomb plant. I like the sniping every so often on Berlin or Desert Siege for sure, but I'm with you there. Yeah. I think it's more of like a pull it out a few times a game situation.
Yeah. I think this is going to be like a 3-2 situation again. Minnesota always seems to like do that kind of thing, and I'm not like 100% confident in FaZe's ability yet.
But one thing you're confident about is that Minnesota will play it close.
Yes, yeah. I'm very confident in that. So
they have been very good at that this year for the most part.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, we'll see. That I do like that one. Yeah, this one's fun. This one's very fun. The next one is Ultra v OpTic. And we're gonna get to learn what OpTic's made of against Ultra. As long as Cammy's playing, which of course this week, we didn't get to see Cammy. We saw the debut of Hixie this weekend because of Cammy's sickness, and man, that was a fun series. And obviously we'll talk about Florida in a little bit, but well, they got 3-0'd by an Ultra team that didn't have Cammy.
They did.
I mean, it was the closest 3-0 of all time. There will never be a closer 3-0 than that.
1 point away.
But 1 point away, 1 round away, and like 4 seconds away in control. But like,
with the sub though.
Insane either way. Yeah. First of all, before we talk about OpTic, do you have any thoughts on Hixie? I mean, since we're probably not going to see him again for the rest of the season, more than likely, so that'd be fun to talk about him when we saw him playing.
It's unfortunate that Hixie is on this roster. I want Hixie I want Hixie to be given a chance on a different roster, say like Paris, or I don't know, maybe New York.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's cool. But yeah, like Hixie's a phenomenal player, but with this roster, I don't see him getting in unless again like someone goes down with a major sickness or
exactly what happened.
Whatever there. But
yeah,
like, what I'm assuming they were doing was like kind of getting ready for like just in case Bance like didn't have the same performance last year, but he's been fantastic. He's been doing well, so I think he's just like Hixie's like the best substitute player.
Yeah.
Right now.
His composure was so impressive. Like to be in games that close, like, round 11s and a game that was literally down to the last second on hardpoint on Bocage. And like he popped that 3-piece and turned on Dave Patty, in that last second. And he fit like a glove with that team. I mean, it was impressive. And in the post game, he had a great interview. He was like, man, it's not hard to be a substitute for this team. These guys are so good and so coordinated and their communication is so great. It's easy just to fill in and do my job. Like, I'm like, that was a really good interview. I'm like, that's awesome. And goes to show the system that Toronto's kind of building.
Ultra is doing something right over there. Like Hixie is, like you said, probably the best substitute in the league. Like they have a super strong front line. They got a super strong backup. Like they are so well rounded.
Oh yeah, crazy. Like remember where they were beginning of Modern Warfare? Like 10 people on their roster.
Yeah, you're like, what is this team? They have no identity whatsoever.
I know.
And now they have one of the strongest identities in the whole league.
100%. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. That's cool.
But yeah, so we'll see. I don't know. I mean, it was cool. Hopefully he can get some sort of shout out, but I was beyond impressed with some of the plays. I mean, he didn't have statistically a great series, but like his clutch plays at the end of that hard point, and then also in control, he popped like a 2 or 3 piece in the third round or the 5th round of control, the clutch up. Like he just made some really great plays. So very impressed with his composure and just overall with Toronto's composure. But with that said, OpTic v Ultra. And I guess we talked a little about Ultra. Let's talk about OpTic. They 3-0'd Paris. They did what they needed to do.
There you go.
They won.
Finally.
They got a dub.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
They lost to Rokkr.
Yeah, what does it mean? They've lost to Rokkr. They've lost to London. They need these 2 wins desperately. If they want to make winners bracket. So this match right here versus Toronto is everything.
I just don't get their S&D, honestly. Like they should be better,
dude,
but they're not,
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, Shotzzy, going into the tournament was like he said he fully believes that they are potentially the best team in the league. Like he's very confident. So the vibes are still high out of the OpTic camp.
So crazy.
The what?
It's so crazy. OpTic effect is so crazy. How is it that every year they're like the best team in scrims? Everyone thinks they're the best team. Then we get to it,
and then somehow it doesn't happen.
Well, like this is almost like the opposite effect. Like they're not starting off well at all.
Fair.
Like usually they start off pretty good, but like now it's just straight up buns. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, though. I mean, obviously, they looked amazing. On the Bocage, I mean, Shotzzy went 41-28. Illy went 35-24. So we saw Dallas Empire absolutely fry there with those 2. And, I mean, everyone looked good on that map, again. But at the same time, it's against Paris. And you expect them to outslay Paris on Bocage. Like, one roster's built for that. One roster's not. But then they came out in S&D, played great, clutched up in control. Like, I just thought it was a really solid, impressive, well-rounded series. But I agree with you. The S&D just feels weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're bomb plants. What is up with these bomb plants?
Yeah.
It's like they're allergic to planting the bomb.
Yeah. And then like looking at like the map counts for S&D, OpTic are for sure going to veto Tuscan because Ultra is 2-0 in Tuscan.
Interesting.
But then Ultra is going to probably veto Berlin because Ultra is 0-1 and OpTic's 2-1. So...
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's fair.
With a Desert Siege or Bocage. And like I would
unless they felt like they learned something from OpTic and they can expose it on Berlin, which maybe they think that.
Yeah. I just like this could be 3-0.
I mean, it's possible it's a 3-0.
I'm kind of feeling gutsy here today, boys. I think it's gonna be a 3-0.
You think Toronto's gonna establish their dominance?
I do, honestly.
I don't think so. I mean, this is OpTic's like.
I mean, this is like
OpTic plays tough against tough teams.
This is like.
I mean, how many times did they go Game 5 with Toronto last year? 3. I feel like this is going to go at least game 4.
I agree, Josh.
But this is OpTic who have lost to Ravens and Rocker now.
No, I mean, I agree. But
does
the hot 3-0 against Paris help them kind of turn the corner, establish some of their confidence? Like, is that what they needed?
I think beating the worst team in the league 3-0.
I mean, sometimes you just need a little bit of a warm up, you know?
I guess so.
I think
he's got to grease the wheels up a little bit.
I think it gave him a little boost, but I don't know if it'll be enough. You know, I think there might be more of a sense of relief. It's good that they did the 3-0 and not a 3-2.
Right.
It's like, okay, so like we really can dominate, you know.
I mean, what map are you thinking then? Because to me, just ultra like. I mean,
I get what you're saying. The hard
this matchup is everything you can do. I can do better. Like this is ultra top.
No,
you know?
Hard point would be interesting to see what map they end up playing, and I'm not sure which one they'd want to play. Let's see. Hardpoint wise, right now, OpTic's vetoed Bocage once and Gavutu twice. They don't want to play Gavutu. That makes sense. Toronto's also. Bocage. Yeah, they probably play Bocage.
Bocage would kind of make sense.
But you don't want to play Toronto on Berlin at this point. No way, right? They've like torched everyone they've played on Berlin.
Bocage is the best matchup there for OpTic.
Agreed.
And I think it's the best Toronto's going to be able to ask for.
Yeah, I don't think I mean, maybe they play Tuscan. They could both agree just to play Tuscan. I bet we get Bocage and Tuscan as the 2 maps. Because one will OpTic will veto Gavutu. No, OpTic will veto Berlin. They could try to square up on Berlin. That's very OpTic
Depends
of them.
Who wins the toss, too.
That's true. I think it's really OpTic of them to try to square up on Berlin. You know, like, we can take them. You know,
even though they're 0-2 in Berlin, just like, you know what, let's
I don't think they'll take them on Berlin.
There's no way, bro.
But like the thing is, if you don't veto Gavutu, you're risking that they don't veto Gavutu. But then, I don't know.
Is OpTic?
Does Toronto want to play Gavutu?
I think OpTic would fare better on Berlin. I think.
I don't know. But at the same time, Ultras just look so dang good on Berlin. I would lean.
Think you take the risk with that? How good is Ultra on Gavutu? Do we?
Right now they're 0-0 on.
Yeah, they haven't played it.
Leagues, but
they might. Maybe they'll try the Gavutu thing. But I think it favors Ultra.
I think if you're Ultra though, I think you like the idea of playing Tuscan. So I think we end up with Tuscan and Bocage.
Yeah,
if we even get to 2.
Yeah.
Right, for sure. So we'll see. I'm going to go 3-1. I'm going to give OpTic a map, but man, is it possible they win? Yeah. But like, how much confidence do we have in Toronto bringing a consistent level of quality Call of Duty? Like, it's just so confident at this point. Like, it's hard to pick against. We haven't seen OpTic beat Toronto. I mean, like, you know, like that's the thing that has to happen first. Is beat them in an actual like regular season match, because that's got to happen first before we can have them do anything else. So I'm gonna go Toronto 3-1.
Yeah,
I'll do Toronto 3-2. I'll give us a spread there.
Okay.
I think this is OpTic's. I think they can put up a fight.
Some flair thrown in there.
Yeah. So far we're all kind of agreeing here, but that's to be expected with some of these matches. No, fair enough. Okay. Next match is Seattle v Florida, which I mean Seattle got tested. At least Seattle got tested. They showed some weakness in their armor, you know? But that did happen on a Gavutu, which if there was a map, maybe, you know, a Gavutu hardpoint. Right now, it feels like Gavutu's the map that if you don't think you have a good chance to win a series, you try to play Gavutu. Like, it's kind of the map where you're like, I mean, you know, hopefully we get lucky. Like, especially Gavutu control. Like, you want to play Gavutu control if you don't think that you're better at control than the other team. Because you're hoping that you get enough kills to get defense. You know? Because on Tuscan, you actually have to play control. On Gavutu, you're just kind of hoping you win the kills.
You actually have to play the game correctly.
Yeah. So,
oh boy,
I'm doing Seattle 3-1. I think
okay,
Seattle.
Which map do you think Florida wins?
I think they can. I almost want to put 3-0, but
yeah, I'm tempted.
Florida might.
But again, Florida, I don't know, because Florida took LA Thieves to a 3-2. Control would be the one, I think. But at the same time, Seattle's been, if you play Gavutu, it's Gavutu. If you get Gavutu, I think Florida has a chance. But I don't know, man.
I do too, but I think Seattle's also.
Surge has been so good in Control, though. I don't know. It's probably S&D, right? Because like Rokkr beat Seattle in S&D. Mutineers beat Thieves in S&D. But really, Mutineers have only really been good on on Berlin S&D, probably. And so it's like, do you really? I feel like if you're Surge, you
might be right. I think Seattle or Mutineers is going to win in S&D.
Yeah. I think that feels somewhat likely, at least right now. I mean, the Mutineers are only 1-4 in S&D in the regular season, but like in the kickoff, they looked really good in S&D. And that's why I was talking about in the breakdown video today. I'm like, dude, this team makes no sense. Like they come out and beat FaZe in S&D in the kickoff, and then in week 1 they get smoked. Then they come out look great. Then they go get round 11. It's like nothing about this Mutineers team makes any sense. Mm-hmm. They've been okay in Control. Right now they're 2-2 in Control.
I'm doing Seattle 3-1.
Okay, Sam, I see you have 3-0.
Yeah, I got a 3-0. I mean,
yeah,
it was cool to see them, compete. But again, it was a team down a man with the sub in. So,
but what about LA Thieves? They went game 5 with LA Thieves. They took the S&D on Berlin. They took the Control against LA Thieves on Tuscan. That's a pretty good win.
Well, like that kind of goes back to my whole thing too. Like I'm not sure what I feel about LA Thieves right now.
100%. Except for Draza, he's a guy.
Yeah, that's true.
Draza, of course, I think he's phenomenal, but I don't think LA Thieves have done anything quite yet to really like astound me. But that's where I'm at with that. That's why I'm not like taking that much into account for Florida for me personally.
Interesting.
But, yeah.
I mean, dude, that round 11 was hilarious. Or the round 10 with getting just dropping the streak on himself on Bo3. That was comedy.
Just making it hard on himself.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna go 3-0 as well, man. But at the same time, it's like, bro, sometimes this Florida team looks insane. But at this point, what? They've only beat Paris.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like,
bring in Yeez, baby.
I'm just not willing
to pick something until I see a win against a solid team from Florida. But even then, last year, how many times did we get the rug pulled out from under us? Last year by Florida.
It's so annoying. Yeah, like I know to say this, like 3-0, it's probably going to be
they're going to win
3-1 Florida. Like, okay.
Yeah. It's going to be, they're going to beat Seattle, the best team in the league. So we'll see. All right, next we got NYSL and Boston. So now, Rex, we got to talk about NYSL. Obviously, we haven't heard your thoughts on this team yet. We haven't heard the thoughts on Neptune. Spill the beans. Where are you at with Neptune? First of all, how do you agree with that decision just to drop him in the first place? And then thoughts on royalty.
I mean, I wasn't.
You were worried.
I definitely thought. Definitely worried about him. And when he was the one person on the team, just from watching, I was like, he's kind of the guy. And it's been like this, and was like that before. It's like you can see the potential there, but he does just do some stupid plays sometimes. And I think that's something maybe NYSL was somewhat struggling with him. So that's why they made the switch to royalty, a little bit more veteranship to him, has more of a brain. And I think you can see it, not in the respawns, but in the S&Ds, I think royalty was an asset.
Yeah, they look good in the S&D.
But the respawns, I think royalty needs some time to acclimate himself to that team still.
I mean, the connection is just such a problem. Like, and even Kenny tweeted it. He's like, I mean, he's playing from Toronto, but his whole team's in Dallas. And so, like, when you're playing a match against LA Thieves, you're going to get a server in, like, Denver.
So maybe that contributed to it.
He was on, like, 75, 80 ping, and everyone else is on 15, 20. So it's like, that's tough. Like, I'm just surprised that you dropped Neptune mid-season to mid-stage. Well, you want to pick up a guy.
You got to do this stuff early, though. That's the thing.
But you're picking up a guy who's going to be on horrible ping online, and like you're set up for failure and respawns. Like,
I'm not convinced Neptune is totally out yet either. I think he has a chance to make a comeback still.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just really weird to me that you do it mid-stage and pick up a guy who is going to be so screwed online. And so, like, really, you're not going to have really a chance to see what he's made of fully because he's going to be on freaking 60, 80, 70 ping every match online until you get to the stage 1 major. But at that point, you're going to be 0-5 or something, or 1-4, best case scenario, and like starting losers.
I don't want to give royalty like that out, that it was just ping. I think he was... that you could clearly see there is a cohesion between the core 3 and then royalty not quite being part of that cohesion yet. I think definitely saw that. They had like
5 days of practice or something. Yeah, I mean, obviously they didn't have much.
So somewhat expected, and I could clearly see that in the hard points. I still think royalty has the right brain on his shoulders to be able to get into that cohesion. And that's
and he's a veteran. He's always been a good S&D guy. Yeah.
It's like the S&Ds are not bad for that team. Like the S&Ds get so much stronger, and he just joined in and they were competitive.
Yeah.
It was the respawns, but I think the respawns can get nailed down. I think royalty can do that job. And hopefully at this point too, Neptune is still like attending every practice or something, getting just hearing the knowledge.
It didn't sound like he is.
Oh, it's not good. I think Neptune still has it there, but he does just do some stupid stuff sometimes.
In his stream, he said that they was like he was kind of like on this little, not rant, but saying like, yeah, they wanted me to like sit corners in hard point, and yeah, like what am I supposed to do? Like I got here by making plays. Like I'm not gonna stop what got me to this point.
See, I think that's where.
So that's where that was where the problem lies.
You got to be able to sit back and like, because you have Hydra doing that already.
And then Shotzi was kind of talking about, and he's like, yeah, you could, he was like, I definitely think that Neptune was trying to think too much while playing and trying to like take it all in, but like it's a lot and it's hard.
I think he has a lot to learn still, and it makes sense. He just came from Halo. Like, I don't know. I mean, we shot with Shotzi and all that.
I mean, yeah, he played on an unconventional team last year. I mean, obviously Florida, like when
he didn't get the perk of having Krim as
right, unstructured
as a coach there right off the bat.
Unstructured with less communication structure as well. So like, obviously, but at the same time, like with New York though, I'm back and forth on the whole idea, because it's like,
what do you think their biggest problem is?
Well, it was more that, you know, it's just tough that you only gave it 1 week. But at the same time, they've been playing the game for like almost 3 months. Yeah. So it's like, at this point, they know each other's strengths and weaknesses as players, whether it's the connection or not, you know, or whatever it is online. So
very akin to the Hugh situation too as well.
Right. Like, and maybe that's the problem, is that Neptune's play style is too similar to Hydra's in a way that Hook and Shotzi wanted to play the same in Cold War. Yep. And it just didn't work as well.
Kind of. I think Hydra does it differently. So I think Hydra still has his own flair to how he does his things, and it makes things work out. And I think
Hydra is such a slayer, but so is Neptune. Like,
yeah, but you can see how Hydra is contributing in that way. Neptune just seems like and I still think he can come back, and I still think he can learn and be one of the best and be right up there with the best of them. But he just like, it's just like peaking things that he shouldn't be peaking, or moving too fast, just getting way too wild when it's like, you got to like sit back. So that, yeah, I get the idea of royalty coming in, because I think he is going to have like a more tame side to him to really be able to work with.
How long is royalty on this team? If you had to put money down and you had to give me a date or like a stage, how long is he on this roster?
I think we see how it plays out this week. If they do get 3-0'd by Boston, Sam, then I think and then they also lose to Atlanta pretty bad. Then I think they make the switch back to Neptune.
Before the stage 1 major?
No, I think they're making these changes quick. Like, because you want to get this stuff out of the way as fast as possible, so you don't have to think about it later.
There's no way they're going to switch before the major one.
I would say if you bring, I agree. If you bring in Royalty, you want to give him a chance on LAN because he's been screwed online.
Yeah.
So I think they let him play the stage 1 major, and if they fly down there and they lose their one match they have to play in the losers bracket, they get sent home. He's gone. No chance. No chance he's still on the team.
Yeah, but I think Royalty's going to be playing a lot better. I think the NYSL is going to be stronger now. I don't know if they'll beat Boston. I don't think it's going to be easy 3-0 though.
I'd like to believe it, but like again, the formula we've seen is that you need to have 3 players who are legit solid, like very good slayers. And like, so you're relying at this point on Royalty and Crim to be legit slayers. But I don't think Clay is never going to be like a slayer.
I mean, depends. I mean, Clay's. I mean, he's getting a lot of kills.
He has good gun skill, but that's not his
really
play
good
style.
Games.
Right. No, but yeah,
he still gets a lot of kills for the most part.
He's not the slayer type though. Yeah. Not his play style with how he pushes up the map.
Hydra, no.
No, yeah. So I don't know. I mean,
I think Crim.
Well, I mean, like a guy like Sib, he flies up the map. But every team needs an accuracy, who gets 20 engagements on a bocage, or 20 kills on a bocage, but they go 20 and 20. Every team needs that guy. FaZe needs RCDs last year. Like, it's just how it works. So, but you need 3 guys who are like legit slayers who push out for map control and are pushing out the map and creating that map control. So I don't know. Anyway, if I had to put a date on it, I would say he gets dropped after stage 2. I think more than likely they're going to lose all their next 3 matches because they're just in such a tough spot. It's not even about the talent of Royalty. It's just I don't think he fits with this team. It was so surprising to me.
I think you're really heavily looking at the hard points at the respawns and just how atrocious he was. And he was making atrocious plays, but he was last minute sub. I really think he can come back and have some cohesion with it. A lot better. I hope so. Because sometimes it was just him doing whatever he was doing and the 3 doing their thing. That's how it felt.
It just seems so unlikely that he's going to be able to convert this team and replace Neptune and bring them into a top 5 types contention. But, I've seen crazier. So who knows? But at the same time, it's like there's a lot of pressure there on Crim to be like Sib level slayer if they want to win championships this year. And that just seems unlikely.
You don't think Royalty can end up being that guy?
I mean, I think Royalty can be solid, but I don't see him as, let's just say, the best team in the game right now. Probably Seattle. Like if you play the compare game, you're like, all right, Hydra's Pred, and then Crim has to be Sib. So it's like, can Royalty be Mac? Maybe. But I'm not sold. But at the same time, can Crim slay like Sib is right now? Consistently, it's hard to say. It's hard to imagine, but that's why I'm a little bit hesitant. I think in the long term, they'll be good in S&D, but like, you gotta win respawns. So
I think they'll be able to start eking out respawns. I think they can be a top 6 soon. 100%.
I think they can be like the Rocker.
They're not going to beat Seattle, I think, like anytime soon. But they also are just going to have different ways of doing things. And that's mad props to Seattle. I think there's a lot of props to the coach over there too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, so I don't know.
I mean, when it comes down to it, though, this is going to be a 3-0.
Nah.
I could see being a 3-1.
No, bro. This is a broken team.
New York took a map off LA Thieves.
But this is now a brand new roster.
How can you
Royalty.
say they're a broken team, though?
I mean, bro, they've won 2 maps and they have a roster change. Like,
well,
so they need to rebuild completely.
Neptune, and I'm pretty sure it's like this thumb infection thing. That's what I was hearing.
Right.
And clearly there's some strife in that camp already. So, and then we have Royalty who comes on last minute, and we're expecting him to be fully involved with the rest of the strategy of this team.
But that's my point. Like that's where they're at right now. They're not.
But they've got some time here, man.
They're not a cohesive unit.
No.
How do you feel about the report that like Neptune was Royalty was reached out to before the kickoff event? That like New York was considering dropping Neptune before even the kickoff event, but then they won 2 matches there. They played pretty well. They lost to Seattle to go for top 4 or for the finals, and then they decided to keep Neptune, and then they started off 0-2, and they're like, all right, see ya.
I mean, I think it's wise. I think they understood where the team was at, and I agree. I think Neptune was the person to be looking at. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I guess we'll have to see.
I mean, this team got beat by LAG, but Breach has beaten LAG, and I think LAG is a much better team than Subliners, and I just don't. I mean, there's not much.
I think they're actually legitimately solid in S&D.
I think LAG is a very smart team, and I think NYSL is also can be a really smart team. Once
they can win control or S&D here, I think it's at least competitive here. I'm gonna go Boston 3-1. Rex, thoughts?
I'll do Boston 3-2.
Okay. I was wondering if you were going to go New York. I was going to see if you're going to get tempted to go that way, but
I think it'll be too soon to start predicting New York, but I don't think New York are like just chalked. I don't.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, well, this is our marquee matchup of the week. It's the Rokkr versus the Gorillas, the new powerhouse Los Angeles Gorillas now. High octane Gorillas. Thoughts on this matchup?
I think it's not going to be a matchup when it comes to the hardpoint. So the question is, can Rokkr take off S&D? Because I think LAG are better than Rokkr.
Hey man, I mean, like Berlin hardpoint for sure. I mean, LAG's looked fantastic on the last 3 times. 2-3 times they played it. They've looked really, really good on it.
LAG have yet to win a control.
Yeah, that's their problem.
So I honestly do think Rokkr could win here if they take both S&Ds in the control.
I think it depends on what hard. I think you veto Berlin hardpoint. Well, let's see. Actually, I'm interested in Rokkr's. No, if you're Minnesota.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So if you're Minnesota,
that leaves Gavutu is the only other map you've won on. If you're Minnesota, which is also Gorillas have won on that, and they also won on Tuscan.
Yeah, I mean, Gorillas have vetoed. Yeah, the Gorillas have actually once vetoed all 4 maps. Yeah. So they must play to their opponent's strengths. So what's the Rokkr strength?
They probably want to play. I mean, they probably want to play Gavutu, I guess, because then that gives them their best chance.
Yeah, so I'd imagine LAG vetoes Gavutu.
Mm-hmm.
And then if Rokkr are vetoing Berlin, that leaves
you play Bocage and
Tuscan. Yeah,
which Tuscan their Rokkers are 2 on. So
yeah, I mean, they could win this series. They absolutely could win this series.
They could, yeah. I'm not saying they can't.
This is a battle of 2 teams who haven't looked great in control.
Yeah,
battle of 2 teams who have looked interesting on Berlin. I'd imagine both teams want to play Berlin S&D at this point, so I'd imagine they square off on it. And then I'd be interested to see what other map they play. So I'm
gonna go LAG 3-1 here.
Man, I'm tempted to go Rokkr side of things here.
Minnesota take the S&D, I'd say.
I think I'm gonna go Rokkr 3-2. I
don't hate that, honestly. If you're gonna win, it's for sure gonna be a 3-2.
Like I think the Rokkr can win a hardpoint as long as they veto Berlin, because right now LAG is debatably the best Berlin team outside of Toronto, and so it's like get that out of there, and then I think you have a chance.
I think I'm gonna go LAG 3-2.
Oh, you're gonna have LAG clutch up in the game 5, huh?
I am gonna have LAG clutch up in the game 5.
Interesting.
I think it's a smart bunch. I think they're gonna surprise people if they aren't already, of how good they can get. Actually,
yeah, they're gonna want to.
I don't know if they're gonna be like a top team, but I think they're gonna be like they're the wall that people are gonna have to break through.
They need to veto Tuscan for sure.
Bro, Slasher's play on London on Gavutu, like that, like 5 or 6 piece to end the game was insane. Like that was one of the best plays I've seen in a long time, and like that type of stuff got me excited. You got to see Asim with the automaton doing great on that map as well. So that's like, I didn't think that Respawn was going to click this quickly. I mean, I don't think any of us did. And so it's like, to see this happen, honestly, is really, really, really cool. And shout out to that whole squad and
you're seeing,
the staff
yeah,
as
like
well.
you're seeing moments of like what these players can be. So I think it is like a hopeful future for them.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Interesting. Well, that's our first time we've actually diverged.
Yeah.
So LA Thieves versus Ultra, another fun matchup here. And how much do you trust LA Thieves?
What can I say except 3-0? Oh.
You're going to go back on that Toronto 3-0 train, huh?
Sam is a savage today.
Sam is a savage today. Good night, bro. You're
okay. What has LA
4
Thieves
3-0s.
What has LA Thieves brought to the table?
No, I get what you're saying.
You know
but
what I'm saying?
like,
I agree. I'm going Toronto 3-1 though.
I actually think it's going to be a close series. I'm leaning more of a 3-2 route here. I
really? You think LA Thieves is like? I think Toronto is like.
I mean, LAT's a top hardpoint team. They've been playing fantastic.
I was going to say their hardpoint has been pretty good.
So it's like, then the question is, can you steal an S&D or a control? And that's questionable. So I think a 3-1 is very possible. But at the end of the day, I'm going to hedge my bets with a 3-2 because I think LA Thieves could squeeze out either one of those S&Ds or controls. So I'm kind of hedging my bets here. But a 3-1 makes a lot of sense. I'm going to stick with 3-2, but I could easily see it being a 3-1. I don't know. I mean, like, what's the narrative for LA Thieves? I really like, I mean, again, seeing Kenny fry like he did in Respawn this weekend was exciting. Like, that's what you wanted to see. But man, it's hard not to trust Toronto. Like, they haven't looked bad since
Toronto's
been there.
Solid.
I mean, like, obviously they lost to Seattle, and like in that series, they lost the Gavutu, or they got smoked on the Bocage hardpoint S&D 6-1 by Seattle. And they lost the Tuscan hardpoint pretty bad as well. But right now, Seattle's by far the best Tuscan hardpoint team. So I'd be interested to see which hardpoint map LA Thieves wants to play against Toronto. So I don't know. But I'm going to hedge my bets, go 3-2. I think that's probably where I'm at right now. And I'm excited to see what that team can do against Toronto. I really want to see LAT take this down to the wire.
I was going to say, like, I when I say all this, like, I'm not like bashing LA Thieves. I just like, I would love to see them play well. Like, I'm the biggest Draws fan there is. I don't know. It's just more of me. Just
you want to learn more about this team, and you don't trust them. Where obviously the team to trust the most is Toronto. So it's a fair argument, no doubt.
Like I always say, I take risk on very small amount of teams, and right now London is my go all for team right now. And
this next one should be fun for you.
I'm pretty conservative on everyone else. So.
I don't know, man. Like, just that thing. Toronto's just so opportunistic in S&D. Like, against LAG, it was just like, man, the second that LAG gives up like a mid lane, suddenly Toronto's in your spawn. Like, suddenly it's just like, they're just so opportunistic to create and develop map control around bomb sites. And like, I'm just so impressed. I just love how they play S&D, man. Gets me soaking well organized in the britches.
In everything they do. They're just so well organized.
No doubt about it. All right, next match, London versus Seattle. Sam, thoughts on this London team? Were you disappointed?
Oh yeah, man. Dude, if they would have won that map or that match,
what the hell happened?
I don't know, man. I mean, like,
what happened with Asim? That's what happened.
Like, look at the stat lines. You can say it was close, but then, man, when it came back to Berlin hardpoint, yikes!
Just clapping the cheeks. Oh
yeah.
my! Just over and over.
Okay. Yes.
But they beat the Rocker.
They did.
And they beat OpTic.
Yeah, but man, this is Seattle, dude. Am I willing to put on the line against Seattle?
To risk it all.
I mean, I'm
the only two undefeated teams, Seattle and FaZe.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is one matchup where I do got to go with Seattle. Like,
you got to trust.
London's a phenomenal team, and
trust the process.
I cannot wait to see them compete. But I mean, Seattle right now, like what,
they're a machine.
How do you pick against them right now? Like, obviously,
Rokkr built a little bit of a
exactly.
Rokkr kind of built the potential system here. You got to win. You got to win the map 2 S&D every time, and then play Gavutu and hope you have a chance. Yeah. I mean, again, this is a formula for every team who thinks they need a map to win. Play Gavutu, and you might have a chance. It's just the money hills are so insane on that map, and that if you just get 1 or 2 kills or get a lucky spawn enough that just causes enough to flip, like you can influence the map enough where you can just get crazy holds. Yeah, it's just like, I think Gavutu's just the map you want to play if you don't think you have a good chance.
Yeah.
And then,
but I think Seattle will win on Gavutu. So,
I mean, we saw Gizmo play pretty well there, but then this time around, then what? Yeah, I mean, London or LAG beat him on Gavutu.
Or Rokkr, you mean?
No, what? No, I mean, they beat London on Gavutu.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about Rokkr against Surge. My bad.
Oh, no, I was talking about LAG beating London.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, man. I'm gonna go London. I don't want to agree with you guys.
I mean, how hype?
Because that's a bad play.
How hype would it be if London could pull it off, though? You know what I'm saying? Oh,
I'm not saying they can't.
No,
I think it's unlikely.
Yeah, no, it's just the odds are not in their favor.
Yeah,
Seattle,
I'm gonna go
3-2. I also could see.
I'm gonna go Seattle 3-1 as well. Yeah, I mean, it could easily be closer. It could be a close series for sure. But it's like Seattle has the advantage in hardpoint. I mean,
I think Seattle is just going to be a machine. I think they're going to be similar to Ultra. Like, they're just going to be a tough team to beat every week. Like,
yeah.
I mean, they're going to be so well. Like those are 4 guys I never thought, like, going into the season were like, whatever. But man, they.
Well, I mean, no one saw Sib and Pred being literally 2 of the top 5 best players in the league right now. Like, it's insane. It's insane. They're so good. It's every time you're like, they're gonna get exposed eventually. And every game, it's just like they look better.
Yeah,
it's pretty insane.
I think the leadership on that team is great. I think that plays a major part.
So we'll see. All right, last 2 matchups here. This is a fun one. Boston versus OpTic. I think we learned a lot about. I mean,
this is a fun
talk
one.
About a must win for OpTic. I mean, OpTic really needs to win this.
Yep.
And we're going to learn a lot about both these teams on this one, especially coming off of an OpTic versus Toronto series. So, where are you at, man? I mean, this Boston team, again, the hard point from Capsule is so interesting. He dominated on that boat. Was that Bocage? And then he went like triple negative on the control. So we're still looking for a little bit more consistency from Capsule, but the S&D on this Boston team is still really good.
Yes.
And control
that's the scary part.
Iffy.
That's the scary part.
That's the thing. The S&Ds look good for Boston. So it's like,
that's the
if you're
scary
going to lose
part.
this, I think this goes 3-2 if Boston wins.
I mean,
it feels like OpTic turned a corner. Like they're going to be back to being a very, very, very competitive
Paris.
team.
They turned a corner.
But they didn't just beat Paris. They kicked the living life out of Paris. I mean, that was not a close series.
Yeah, no, they did. I think they just gained some confidence back. But
how many times have we seen that before, though? We've seen so many teams beat really bad teams. We're like, oh, look, they're back. And then they play a good team. We're like, oh, no, never mind. Same problems. And it happens a lot. And
again, Breach is a very good team, too. So,
yeah. I'm very the pull of the Breach is very enticing.
Dude, it's so
I'm
wild
itchy
right
to
now.
pick the upset.
I honestly am struggling to figure out where I think these teams are. I'm thinking Breach is good, but I'm like, are they that good? I don't know.
Well, I mean, dude, yeah. So today I put out Power Rankings video, and those middle 5 teams, man, Boston, LAG, London, Minnesota, and OpTic. Those 5 teams are so hard to organize. You're like, because everyone's beat everyone. Because Rokkr beat OpTic 3-2, London beat OpTic 3-2, LAG beat London 3-1, Breach beat LAG 3-2, London beat Rokkr 3-1. And like all these teams just kind of like gone like this little round robin of beating each other.
Wild right now.
And so it's really competitive in the middle of the middle of the pack. And OpTic's only going to get better. I mean, obviously they're only going to get better.
Yeah.
So thoughts, Sam?
Yeah, I'm gonna say Boston 3-2, then with
you stole my thunder
with the S&D. I think it's a little worrisome on the on OpTic's side. Going in, I think everyone thought this was going to be OpTic's best mode by far, and they're going to be the best S&D team in the league.
Man,
so far it's been rough.
Rex,
I want to choose OpTic.
I see that was my problem with the power rankings today. It's like my mind's telling me no, but my body is telling me yes. I mean, like something about like the draw of like, okay, we saw the absolute slaying dominance from OpTic finally, and like, can't they keep it up? Can't they keep it up? But the S&D continues to scare me. I agree with you, Sam. And then it's like, okay, Control's a toss-up still at this point, especially if you play Gavutu, who the F knows? And then you go to a hard point, and you're like, okay, well, then they already played Bocage. Like, at this point, OpTic's best map is definitely Bocage. Mm-hmm. And so then it's like, okay, well, what happens if they play Gavutu or Tuscan at this point? Who knows? Like, they just lost close ones. So, oh, goodness. And then they've lost both game 5. They've lost both game 5s they've played. So it's like, oh no. Oh man, did they lose another game 5 S&D? I'm going OpTic 3-1. I can't.
Wow.
Yeah.
He can't do it.
I'm soft. I think I'm gonna be right though. I'm pretty confident in this. I'd wager this.
Would you?
Yeah. We really need to decide on a wager. What the
All
F?
right. I think I'm gonna side with Sam. I think I'm gonna go Boston 3-2.
Oh man,
I just feel like it's a game 5,
like it.
and I just favor Boston.
Yeah, I mean at this point, OpTic hasn't been icy. It's been the opposite.
To say the
but
least.
It's always there. OpTic always could become ice at any moment.
I think that's like always their story. They could be.
Yeah,
they could. Imagine if they did.
Yeah,
you know,
just imagine if they actually played to their full potential.
Could you imagine? Oh man, and yeah, it's gonna be fun. That's probably one of the most fun ones. Okay, we need to decide on a wager. Also, the comments we were gonna talk about this last week, Rex. I forgot to mention this earlier.
Trophy idea. I think
that is a little bit extreme.
Get a trophy.
I say we do. The person gets
all the time.
I say a person gets some CDL merch of their choice. I think that's fun, and the other 2 people pay for it. That's fun.
I like that.
Because like then it's kind of like something that we can like wear and represent, you know? Down for that?
If I win, I'm writing on mine saying Vanguard best of 3 winner.
Prediction champion. Yeah.
Something like that.
Okay. I'm down. Okay, all right. So that's the
want a hat.
I did like the trophy idea. We could do hats.
I 100% want to get a hat.
You could get a shirt and a hat.
When I win, I'm getting a hat.
Last match here is ATL versus NYSL. I mean,
come on.
Rex,
3-0.
can New York steal an S&D? I'm going FaZe 3-0.
Yeah, like, bruh.
Atlanta 3-1.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So that's where we're at right now. Rex, you're going 3-1?
Yep, 3-1. We'll get an S&D.
Alrighty, fair enough. We'll see what happens. Hopefully we can keep it up and rock and roll. And yeah, if you had to rank those 5 teams real quick, those 5. So
dude, it's so hard.
Just give us your best bet. OpTic, Minnesota, London, LAG, and Boston.
London 1, LAG 2.
And then OpTic, Boston, and Minnesota.
OpTic, Boston, Minnesota.
Rex?
If you think OpTic's better than Boston, why'd you pick Boston?
I think OpTic's ceiling is higher, but
I hear you. I agree with
you know
that.
what I'm saying.
But in the power rankings, I
think
like,
Ravens number 1.
I thought you have to put OpTic behind Boston if you're choosing a Boston to win.
Don't tell
I don't
what to
know.
do.
Well, that's a kind of ironic too. I don't know. I'm going to go OpTic 3-1. Oh, goodness. I hate myself. I don't know.
I do think OpTic has this high ceiling, but I think Boston are really in their somewhat in their stride a little bit.
Well, it's tough because it's like power ranking is always tough because it's like, do you power rank based off of if they played every team today?
No, I think you got power rank just off of the now.
No, but like if they played all 11 other teams today, who would have a better record? Boston or OpTic? Boston, maybe.
Probably Boston. Yeah, I guess so.
If it was like
Maybe I do
also one
Boston,
day they
OpTic,
play
and
every
then-
single team, I bet Boston.
Yeah, okay. I do London, LAG,
Boston, OpTic, Minnesota.
Boston, OpTic, Minnesota.
My ranking was Boston, LAG, London, Minnesota, OpTic.
Why London's so low? You're not impressed by London?
I mean, what do you mean? London lost to LAG. Boston's beat LAG.
Mm-hmm. The transitive property, bro.
The transitive property. Nebraska's national championship somehow because of that. We're winning March Madness somehow. Yeah, no doubt. Rex, what's your final rankings?
I'll do London, LAG, Boston, OpTic Rocker, I guess.
Okay. With
There
that
you
said, let's hit intelligent or irrelevant, boys and girls. Let's go.
The ability to speak does not make you intelligent.
Sammy B. What do you got for us today?
So this one's gonna be more of like a gauging people's thoughts.
Okay.
Maybe less of. So anyways, here's the question. Seeing FaZe this far in the league, not playing the toughest of competition yet. Do you think they have fallen below, met, or exceeded expectations prior to week 1? So if you like after Kickoff Classic, gauge your expectations. Now look back. What do you think? They're 3-0.
I think they've met my expectations, to be honest.
Okay.
I think people are going to say they have underwhelmed, but I would say they've probably met expectations. I mean, overall, they've played well. They're 3-0. And have they done it in the ways I thought they would? Probably not. So maybe in that sense, it's surprising. But like as a team, they still look pretty good. And they're undoubtedly top 3 still. And you could argue better.
Yeah. I don't think anyone would say exceeded, though. Do you think?
No,
It'd be a very small percentage
definitely not
of
exceeded.
haters.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think met is the intelligent answer.
Yeah. Okay. So final results. I voted on exceeded. 59.8% say met expectations.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
35.3% say fallen below expectations.
Hmm.
And that leaves a measly 4% for exceeded.
You.
Me. So,
Fair enough.
Just a few comments here. Desma here. A lot of people always talk about the talent on FaZe. However, their work ethic is what elevates them to that untouchable status. The Cold War season was probably the most perfect season the team has played, so it will be hard to top. But Simp is not even 100%, and they are 3-0.
Yeah, fair enough.
Horde says, once Simp is putting up the numbers they did last year, this team is going to melt everyone. It won't even be fair. The question is, will he? Will he?
And if you had to bet for or against Simp, I'm going to give Simp the benefit of the doubt.
Icy Dow says, first of all, missed you last week, Rex. Second, FaZe has played what? 3 matches? They're 3-0. Sure, they've had some close series, but they're the same FaZe. Even with Simp underperforming, they're still smoking kids. Give them time and they'll dominate just like last year. Also, I'm an OpTic fan. What WTF is going on over there? LMAO.
They'll be back.
Talk about below expectations. And then let's just pick another one. Icy season. FaZe is mid. Ranked will be mid. The only thing there, not mid, is the podcast. It's well above mid. I wouldn't even consider it. I didn't even read that comment before. I didn't consider it high in comparison to all the mid and COD.
Yo, that's mid, bro. Come on. That's tough.
That was amazing.
Oh, man. High quality. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
There you heard it from the folks. I think that's an intelligent overall answer from the people. Absolutely.
Thank you.
And appreciate you guys for watching. That's the best 3 podcasts this week, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Drop all your comments down below. Hopefully you enjoyed it with ShadyNero back at it again. And we got rank play this week, so be on the lookout for some best of 3. Be on the lookout for some streams. I have a buddy coming to town. It was kind of bad timing because it was planned before, and then rank play got pushed back, and so didn't fully work out. But I'll be live sometime Saturday night or Sunday for sure with watch parties and all of that. So hopefully we can be hanging out and playing some COD and watching COD and frying. And then gameplay videos will be back on gameplays will be back on the gameplay channel as well. SalvationsElite Gaming, where we do the best of 3 GBs. And that's been a blast so far. You can go catch up on the GBs we already played, and we'll be grinding some ranked play together as well. So go check that out. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. And guys, we'll talk to you next time. I'm Josh SalvationsElite. To my right was Bachelor's Rebate. To my right, per usual, was Rex ShadyNero. And guys, we'll see you next time. Peace.